Assalamu alaikum, everyone. The Dow today was down 300 points, and the rest of the indices were in the red as the market continues to process Powell's comments regarding perhaps having cold feet regarding another cut in December. And this manifested itself in the updated probabilities for the rate cut in December, now sitting just shy of 60%. That being said, as I mentioned yesterday, I still think a rate cut is coming in December, and that is for a number of reasons. And also because, honestly, we're just one report away, one economic report away that reminds the Fed how the economy is doing from this probability distribution flipping again in favor of a cut. So I'm not really worried about this. Certainly not as worried as the market. Today, the VIX was up close to 13%, which is the volatility index and used as a gauge of fear in the market. Now, our positions did well today. If you look at our biggest position, Tesla up 3%. Bitdeer reports earnings before market open on Monday. So we have that to look forward to. And really, Bitcoin miners generally are in profit right now, so long as Bitcoin is above 80,000. Bitcoin right now is at 91,000, up 4%. Doge is at 38 cents, and Solana's is up 4.5% at $219 per token. So the majors in crypto are doing quite well. This is going to, I think, accelerate moving into Q1 and Q2 of next year. It won't be a straight line up, but it will go up much further, is my prediction. There are a number of tailwinds in the sales of Bitcoin and crypto generally. Today, for example, we saw an article that I thought was quite interesting. Trump could put billions into U.S. Bitcoin reserve without Congress's approval. Not to say that if he needed Congress's approval, he couldn't get it because they do control the House and the Senate. Senator Cynthia Lummis introduced a bill advocating expanding the 200,000 Bitcoin that the U.S. government has or is holding in reserve. And the proposal outlines a plan for the government to purchase up to 200,000 Bitcoin annually over 5 years, potentially accumulating 1 million Bitcoin, representing approximately 5% of the top assets total supply. Lummis expresses optimism that the legislation could pass within the first 100 days of Trump's new term. So this would be, as I mentioned yesterday, perhaps bigger than the creation of the ETFs themselves, the Bitcoin reserve. U.S. establishing it means that other countries following suit is only a matter of time. And there's an advantage to a Bitcoin reserve in that by law, the government is not allowed to sell it before a certain period of time. And therefore, it's going to be one way for Bitcoin. And there's just going to be a bid. There's no asks from this. So constant bid from governments across the world, from sovereign states that have very deep pockets, is very good for any asset. Bitcoin is no exception. It's good for Bitcoin. It's good for crypto generally. If you look at the Kalshi probabilities for this actually happening, it's because it does seem like almost a figment of someone's imagination, but probabilities right now, people who are putting money behind the probability of this happening, now 66%. So this is looking that it's not as remote of a probability as perhaps some see it as. Now 62%. So this is day 5 of 35% off for premium and elite memberships. Membership gets you access to my portfolios and trades every time we make a trade, deep dives, new assets, etc. From my friend who sent me actually a personal message. He said, in 1 week, my PIF growth portfolio has shot up by 50%. Thanks to Trump and that bot that's running PIF. Heartfelt thanks, Rakaan, for your guidance, patience, and sharing your competency. I pray the benefit you are bringing to us counts heavy for you in the akhirah. Thank you, good friend, for that message. All right, for the crypto market overview, because we are entering the weekend and the stock market is closed, but crypto markets are open. And we may have a very interesting weekend, just as we did last weekend. The market cap for crypto is now north of 3 trillion. I think that perhaps at the end of this cycle, we go north of 4 trillion. And we end up between 4 and 5 trillion, perhaps, in the total market cap for crypto, which means a lot of things. It means good things for Bitcoin, but it means very good things for smaller cap cryptos, which are very interesting to me right around this time of the cycle. The altcoin season is at 35. So we're still basically in Bitcoin season, which means that there is some time. There's less time than there was, but there's still some time to position ourselves favorably once altcoin season starts. And regarding my strategy for finding altcoins, basically it's a combination of understanding what are the most popular themes, and meme coins are by far the most popular theme and what makes the most sense to me with regards to the utility of crypto as a means for storing value and transferring it from one actor to another, and which L1 blockchains are doing the best. So when you look at the daily active addresses, Solana is doing the best by a long shot. You have 6.8 million daily active addresses versus under 500,000 for Ethereum, even though Ethereum has a much bigger market cap. So make of that what you will. Daily transactions, Solana is absolutely stomping on everyone else. 45 million daily transactions for Solana versus 1.3 million for Ethereum. Now, and the DEX trading volumes is perhaps most relevant when you're thinking about which meme coins to take a chance on. With regards to Solana, you have trading volumes on November 14th nearing 7 billion, whereas Ethereum is in second place with around half that daily trading volume at 3.5 billion. And go down the list here, Near Protocol is in last place with just 12.7 million. So with regards to, okay, where does my money have the best chance of doing well? I think a combination of understanding what themes are popular and what blockchains are doing the most volume, combining those, that information will steer you in the right direction. So I think meme coins on Solana are going to do better than all else being equal than meme coins on some other chain. And then what you want to do is then look at the relative valuation for these meme coins versus some of the metrics that I just mentioned. And this is really what I'm going to be spending my weekend doing. If you look at fees and revenue, yeah, Ethereum is still the top dog in terms of fees and in terms of revenue. However, it's very noteworthy that if you look at the fees for Solana, they're at 9.1 million versus Ethereum at 11.9 million. So relatively close here. I mean, you're talking about close to 90% of the amount of fees that Solana is generating versus Ethereum, and the same with regards to revenue. So if we look at Solana, it's 4.6 million versus Ethereum, 10.1 million. So roughly half in terms of revenue. But when you look at the respective market caps for these cryptos, it's basically 1 to 4. So Solana is at 100 billion, whereas Ethereum is at 375 billion. So there's a mispricing here, and I think this mispricing will take care of itself over this crypto cycle, and perhaps we actually see Solana uh, gaining ground in a big way compared to Ethereum. So with that, let's, by the way, Jum'ah Mubarak to all, and Assalamu alaikum to everyone in the chat. Thank you so much for coming. And we'll start with Hannibal. Do you have a business model in mind for Tesla Robotaxi? Yeah, so I think Robotaxi can actually operate at around a 50% gross margin. And there's some studies that have looked deeper into the numbers there. And I think the average cost per mile for someone using a Robotaxi will be basically half of what it costs right now for people driving themselves. Wilson says, Salam, brother, do you have any thoughts on healthcare sector stocks that got beaten hard recently? Well, I think your head is in the right place, thinking about what has been beaten hard recently. Right now, I do think that the stage of the market is more risk on. And so, with a longer term view, you may find some really good names. With a shorter term view, I'm still looking at some higher risk, I think, plays. Assalamu alaikum, Rakaan, all brothers. Thanks, Fahad. Assalamu alaikum, everyone else. Yeah, there's a big difference, Shad, between a cut and a pause. I think the cut would be more bullish for risk assets. It's tough to say when PLL will soar. I think that it's really a matter of lithium prices. They're doing everything right. If you look at their last earnings report, they're doing everything right. They're a lean operation. There's no fat left in that operation. They've really tightened their belts and cut costs wherever they could. And so it's really a matter of lithium prices recovering. And the good thing is that this company that I think has ample runway and has enough business to keep it going, however long that takes. And I think that we're seeing signs of different lithium producers cutting their production, and we're seeing signs that there is recovery in the EV market, battery market, and therefore the combination of that means increasing demand and decreasing supply, so price should follow. I don't know how long it will take, but inshallah it will follow. If a 5% of total Bitcoin supply is sucked from the market, what do you think will be the price reaction for that? It's going to be bullish. And keep in mind, when we're talking about, let's say, Bitcoin, we're talking about a market cap now approaching 2 trillion. This is not to say that if you want to increase the price of Bitcoin or the market cap of Bitcoin 100 billion, that you need 100 billion to do that. Because the way the market cap is calculated, it's a multiplication of the latest price times the number of tokens that are out there. And so basically what you need to figure out is how many Bitcoins are even for sale, and then compare that to the number of dollars that are chasing that. And that will determine how far up the price goes. So theoretically, you could cause, $100 billion increase in market cap with just $5 billion increase in demand pressure. So, what 5% of new demand, sustained demand from sovereign governments with basically unlimited budget means for price is really anyone's imagination. So Nanavia, walaikum salam, I went over CELH in a previous live. I stayed away from it just because I didn't see any moat, and I'm not really sure about the health safetyness of, if that's a word, of the drinks that they make. So I got two questions about when the peak will be. I think I mentioned this yesterday. I think that it's no one knows, and that's why it's very important to keep an eye out on the data points. For example, with regards to Bitcoin, the MVRVZ score, with regards to um, the any stocks that you're investing in. Obviously, you have to keep your eyes on valuations and making sure that they make sense. I think that was a mistake that many people made in the previous bull run. Things were trading at valuations they that couldn't be justified even with 50, 100 years of growth. So this is very important that you not invest based on hype, but invest based on data. And generally speaking, with regards to whether we're in risk on or risk off, I think it's very important to look at liquidity levels and the forecast for liquidity levels moving forward. I still am bullish on liquidity levels. I think that the government will have to refinance its debt, and it needs to do that with lower interest rates. So lower interest rates are coming. Certainly, the incoming administration is going to be pro lower interest rates. So that's going to pump a lot of liquidity into the market. And as I mentioned, Trump is someone who judges himself based on the performance of the market. So I think that there's going to be, even if monetary policy falls short, fiscal policy will attempt to provide bullish stimulus for the markets. Taskin says, Assalamu alaikum, Rakaan. Wa alaikum salam, Taskin. Someone in the Discord. No, I don't think so. Someone in the Discord posted an article about iron going up 1,500% in 18 months. No, I think that's wishful thinking. So I don't think that's going to happen. Let's not confuse Iris Energy with um, Peanut the squirrel, the crypto Peanut the squirrel, that did more than that in just 1 week. Speaking of meme coins. So if I had to guess, I think hens will be acquired. I saw something similar happen with Slack, where Slack was competing with Microsoft Teams, and then it got acquired by Salesforce. I doubled my money on that investment. Jamal Mubarak, Hassan. It's my pleasure. Thanks, Hassan. It's my pleasure. I think with regards to meme coins like Doge, and asking the question, is Doge use rising? Well, it's not. It's Doge's use is not rising as a currency, as a means of payment. But the reason why meme coins are so attractive in this stage of the cycle is that it for stocks, for example, as their price goes up, the argument for selling them becomes stronger. But with meme coins, as their price goes up, oftentimes the argument for holding them becomes stronger, because they're one of their utilities is a way to escape the inflation of fiat. That's another thing that is very important to look at with meme coins. Check what the total potential supply can be. With as it relates to Doge, people immediately, once someone says they're not interested in Doge because it has unlimited supply, just understand that this person either is low IQ or they don't understand Doge and its unlimited supply. It is limited in Doge is limited in supply on a limited time frame. So within a year, there can only be 5 billion additional Doge created. If you don't have a limited time frame, then yes, there's no limit to how much Dogecoin can be produced. Now, what a limited in number by time means is that the inflation rate is always going down. So, if there's 5 billion additional tokens and there's 150 billion tokens out there, then you have an inflation rate. And then if, years from now there's 200 billion, there's still only 5 billion new tokens created. And so the inflation rate is even lower. So you have a steady and decreasing inflation rate. So we're talking about inflation rates 2, 3, 4%. This is not something that necessarily impacts investors in any meaningful way. It's steady, predictable, and it's decreasing. So, and this I think supports an argument for an eventual utility of a token like Dogecoin as a currency. For example, on a platform like X, if you want to tip a creator that you liked, or if you wanted to send money to another connection that you have, you could do so conceivably in Dogecoin. And I think the appetite to do so in something like Dogecoin is enhanced because the inflation rate is not zero. There's not a hard cap on the number of Dogecoins that can be created like there is for Bitcoin. With regards to Bitcoin, it's very good as a store of value because you want to hoard as many as you want. As many as you can. All users want to just hoard Bitcoin as much as they can because they know that there's a $21 million, there's a 21 million token max, and they want to have, a certain number of these tokens. And so the appetite for them to actually use them in an exchange is much lower. Walaikum salam, Dr. Boss. So members only can see my portfolio. I don't actually manage, like take money from people and manage it. At least not yet. Yeah, don't forget to leave a like. That would be really appreciated. Yeah, I do think that, we could. Now, if you look at previous bull runs, there's always been pullbacks in the price of Bitcoin. Uh, in the previous bull run, I think there was 8 or 9, 10% pullbacks for a Bitcoin during that run. So expect some pullbacks. That doesn't mean that the bull run ended. Uh, this is sort of the natural progression of things. So I think that if you wanted to play this, maybe a 5 to 10% trimming of positions when you feel like the RSI is overbought. For example, right now the Bitcoin is overbought on the daily for the relative strength index. May make sense. Again, I always say this, but take enough profit so that you're okay regardless of what happens. So you don't want to take too much so that if it continues going up, you feel regret, and you don't want to take too little so that if it does fall, you feel regret that you didn't take any profits as well. So you want to find that balance between not caring whether it continues to go up or it goes down. And that's something that everyone has to work out for themselves. For me, typically the range is 5 to 10%, but not more than that. If I think that we're still in the midst of a bull run, like I think right now. Yeah, I do think the discount code will last till the weekend. I've been, alhamdulillah, very happy with your support and your trust. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. Honestly, uh, I feel like I'm one of the very few people that doesn't necessarily look forward to the weekend. I love my job. I love following the markets. I love investing. I love trying to find, the top 1% of assets, um, and sharing my thoughts with you guys. And none of this could happen without your support. So I just want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart for what you guys have made possible for me, and hopefully I've been able to return some of that value to you. So with that being said, enjoy your weekend. Make sure to, as much as possible, put your phones down, try to spend time with your families, and until next time, make sure to take care of yourself. Assalamu alaikum, and peace be upon you all.